Kevin wants to
really talk him up a lot.
Okay, Kevin wants a formal introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to Kevin Cruz. Kevin is currently the CEO and manager of business development at Triton Systems. He is a fourth-year entrepreneurship and innovation and marketing student at FFU. In 2013, he founded For Ascent, which is an app-enabled sense diffuser that infuses scent throughout a house or workplace. He's currently working with SFU Venture Connection. Some of the competitions that he's competed in: SFU Student Entrepreneur of the Year, Coast Capital Savings Venture Prize Competition, Alex Venture Student Startup Challenge, and he has been awarded Surrey Board of Trade's Top 25 Under 25 and the Charles Chang Award for Entrepreneurship. Oh, okay. So, should we flip it over there?
Sure. You're not going to talk about the remaining slides?
Oh, the other stuff is for after.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's just a little bit about what I've been working on.
Just a couple things.
Just a couple things. Yeah, it's been intense because I'm a student entrepreneur based out of SFU, and it's tough managing school and business at the same time. So this summer it's going to be very interesting because I'm going to be taking a full plunge into the world of entrepreneurship. With my company Sense, we're set to launch a product at the end of the summer. We have our own office space, so we're kind of working out of there right now, and it's going to be interesting what's going to happen up ahead. So yeah, my talk today is a little bit about my story and why there's a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit inside all of us. And I just want to start off by asking you guys, what's your motivation for coming here today? Are you guys really interested in business? Want to explore your potential options as a career in business? Yeah, you want to maybe just go around the table and give your take on this? What is it about this talk or this series of workshops you find interesting or intriguing?
Well, it's kind of I'm not really sure what I want to do with my life. So I'm just kind of exploring different options that I could possibly pursue in the future.
Right.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm also exploring options, but I don't know, I think business is important and job you do, so might as well have a good background of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about my life and thinking about what I was going to do in the future.
Great.
Oh my god.
Great. Wow.
So and then I heard about this and I signed up and here I am.
Nice.
I just really like creating business, very interesting. Yeah,
really like what?
Yeah, like entrepreneurship
Nice.
and marketing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm volunteering here, and then I'm actually interested in going into being a business lawyer or corporate law. We're studying corporate law,
Nice.
so I was thinking this would be a nice way to think about that.
Yeah, I hope to eventually be an entrepreneur, so I want to go to school in order to become one, and I want to get all the knowledge I can. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I kind of just want to explore because I still have a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
I got voted as the marketing VP for my school, so I want to see how I can develop with selling products for my the school audience.
Nice. Yeah. So one of the things we will be talking about is selling and sales and stuff. And the reason why I wanted to ask you guys what you wanted to be here is that's the first component of closing a sale. It's you want to hone in on what exactly your target audience wants from you. A lot of people have this perception about doing sales and things like that. It's like shoving down people's throats and shoving products down and trying to close a sale. But really, it's about finding what the value points are or the pain points of a market and providing products that satisfy those pain points. So if I was to go up to you and then and try to sell you a water bottle, and then I start off by straight up talking about the product features of this amazing water bottle, but you're not even in the market for a water bottle. You're not even looking for one. What's the point? One of the first things is how you, as a salesperson, is you want to hone in on whether or not this person really is into it. You gather information. So yeah, moving on further, I guess another question to ask you guys is, what is entrepreneurship to you? Maybe another thing to pass around. This first talk is about entrepreneurship, and I want to know what everyone's kind of perception of what this whole thing is. Maybe we can go in reverse order.
A young person starting a new business.
Okay.
Basically just trying to sell something.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone who starts off a business trying to sell a product or service to the general public.
I guess entrepreneurship is about start a business and to make the best value. Yeah.
A young person finding finding an idea, making a product, trying to put the product on the market and making a business.
Yeah, it's kind of been said like in the same
Pretty
way.
much the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like the general consensus of things, right? What I've learned throughout my growth as an entrepreneur and growing in even just university is it's so much more than just developing a product, and it's so much more than what is kind of like this general perception of what it is. It's about creating value. It's about solving problems. And that's why this talk is about why we're all entrepreneurs. Because in our human nature, we're inherently problem solvers. And what entrepreneurs do is they solve problems in a way that adds value to people's lives. At least from my experience at SFU, it's not just called entrepreneurship. It's called entrepreneurship and innovation. And entrepreneurs are inherently innovative people. What they do is they solve problems in society in ways that other people aren't doing right now. And they solve problems, they may not necessarily solve problems, or solve problems that people don't even know about, really. So there's this awesome talk. I'll include like a little short thing about, it's not going to be the whole video because it's like 3 minutes long, but I definitely want to show that. And it's about the new definition of entrepreneurship.
It's often thought of as starting a new business or creating innovation. But in reality, entrepreneurship, in our view, is the pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources you currently control. Now, what does that mean? It means you have to persuade customers they'll be better off buying your product. You have to persuade employees that they might be better off if they work with you rather than with an established company. And you have to persuade investors and other people to provide the resources that this is a real opportunity. So entrepreneurs have to be able to convey a future vision of the world and then help people believe that vision of the world is possible. I think selling is about helping people believe that what you're doing is important. Because obviously it's hard to raise money for a lemonade stand. But why is it important? What are the proof points that can say that somebody is going to allow you to perform a cash activity upon their wallet? The second thing is you've got to persuade people that you're well managed, that you're not going to waste their resources. Most people who are investors, they may not be in love with money, but they know how hard it is to get, and therefore they want to make sure it's not wasted. They also want to know that the amount of money is sufficient to get you to the next stage, whatever that stage is. The startup is simply a proof of concept. At some point, you have to be able to prove to people who get to cash flow break even, because in entrepreneurship, happiness is a positive cash flow. And then the last thing you have to somehow do is persuade them that, in fact, their experience working with you will be good. I know as an investor, if I ever see a sign of somebody that is willing to cheat the government or cheat the customer or cheat your wife or whatever, I want to run away as fast as possible. Because I know as an investor, I will never be able to monitor as completely I need to if the person doesn't have a strong moral background. Morality is a very tough thing. Some people would say you have to tell everyone.
I guess this last part isn't entirely relevant. Just a heads up, I'll be showing a couple videos throughout this talk. I'll totally send it all to you guys after this talk is done. So don't feel the need to jot down all the notes right away and stuff. But yeah, this guy Howard Stevenson, he brought up this really great point, and it's kind of this widely accepted definition of what entrepreneurship is today. And entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunity beyond the resources controlled. So let's break this down. So pursuit, it's the first kind of component of this definition. And it implies that there's like this singular focus, this drive that entrepreneurs have to pursuing an idea and opportunity. A lot of the times, entrepreneurs have to move really fast. They have to move really fast and minimize the amount of expenses they incur to develop this thing. Because a lot of entrepreneurs, similar to students like you guys, we don't have a lot of cash in our pockets. So we've got to find the most efficient, and the cheapest way to develop a product, get a proof of concept, and make sure that this is something the market is willing to pay for. So opportunity, there are a lot of ways you can spin this around. So one of the viewpoints you can look at, or one of the frames of reference or lenses you can look at the word opportunity is in developing a new and innovative product. The second could be selling a product that's not entirely new and innovative, but adopting a business model that's totally different than what's accepted on the market today. If you look at innovative companies like Facebook and things like that, they created this new business model that was kind of unprecedented before. But the big trend nowadays is creating networks, right? Using network effect. And network effect basically is the value of a product, the perceived value of a product increases, or it's dependent on the amount of users using it. So if you look at the telephone, if you look at the internet, it's useless if only like 2 or 3 people are using it. But if a whole ton of people start using it, it creates so much more value, and it's something that people are willing to pay for. And then the third is developing a similar product as well, but in a totally cheaper way of doing it and killing all of your competitors in doing so. And then there's a fourth way, which is selling an existing product, but selling it to a totally new customer base. So let's see, what's a good example of that? Sharon, can you think of anything? So it's an existing product, but it's selling it to a totally new audience. Oh, here, I got one. We talked about this in class, and the product is the Escalade. And so when the guys developed the Escalade at the very beginning, their initial target audience, what they thought, were like old people. Like kind of rich, well-off, like Wall Street kind of guys. And then they launched it on the market, and then they kind of looked at who the target audience actually ended up being. And then you see it on tons of hip-hop videos, and friggin' like Lil Jon is like there with all the girls in the video and stuff. And there's this huge market in like this urban culture and this hip-hop community. And it's funny because they had this one mindset, but they ended up pivoting the idea. Pivoting is a concept in entrepreneurship where you have an idea about a market, but you change it based on what the market tells you. So they pivoted and they started positioning the product in a way that kind of appeals to this hip-hop kind of urban culture. So that's kind of an interesting perspective. And then the final point about that definition is beyond resources control. This inherently implies that there are constraints. So when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, you're faced with a lot of constraints. You don't have a lot of cash in your pocket. There are lots of competitors probably in your market right now, unless you have this amazing innovative idea that comes once in a lifetime, really. And because of that, you got to find creative ways to innovate, creative ways to solve problems, to move fast, and get ahead of your competitors, or at least get to the point to where your competitors are at. So it's funny because we're all kind of young people here in this room, and myself included. At least I like to think I'm a young person. But yeah, we're faced with a lot of constraints in terms of credibility. When I started out my idea, I was 20 years old, 21 years old. Yeah, somewhere around there. And I'm fairly young, and I faced the constraint of credibility. One of the big challenges I had to overcome was, I'm going to these big networking events with a lot of industry professionals and things like that. And I'm the youngest person there. How do I command that credibility? How do I effectively communicate my idea and communicate the value that it provides in a way that's really compelling? You have this kid coming up to CEOs of companies, pitching your idea. How do you create a compelling argument for that, right? So you're faced with a lot of these different constraints. And it's your job as an entrepreneur to overcome them. How do you know you're an entrepreneur? Anyone want to take a crack at this? Name one key characteristic, I think. Yeah. Name one key characteristic that you think is essential to any entrepreneur. Maybe we could go around the table again.
Creating a new idea for a product and wanting